What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today with another deck profile, and this time it's for Blue Eyes Chaos Max. So this deck, I flipped between 3 different builds. Ultimately, I'm not 100% happy with either build. I ultimately just went for this one because it was the one I could kind of... I don't know, I guess I was happy with this list in the way that it handled itself against other decks. The other decks work well in a vacuum, but I found that this is a bit more, I guess, competitive and can go a bit more back and forth. Simply because you're not playing a bunch of the inconsistency related things. This is just designed to be streamlined, consistent, and be able to interact with the opponent, basically, as much as you can. But, as always, before we do get started on this deck profile, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people to the channel. And let's get on into this deck profile. Before we do get started on this one, though, it is brought to you, of course, by yourplaymat.com, who got us our beautiful NolanTCG Extra Deck sleeves. These are available on yourplaymat.com, as well as you can get custom sleeves and custom playmats, so whatever you need for the current format. There is an affiliate link in the description down below that does get you a little bit of a discount on your order. Also, enter the code NOLAN10YP for 10% off your order. Also kicks back a little bit to the channel, so everything will be very much appreciated. If you're shopping there, you're getting custom sleeves, custom playmats done, make sure to enter our code at checkout. But let's get on into this deck profile. Okay, so starting us off, we of course have a playset of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. Honestly, I probably considered cutting this to 2 because it's very easily searchable in the deck. I say very easily searchable. There's one card that searches it, but it does necessarily mean you play 6 copies of it already. You should always guarantee that you get to it. Overall, card very good. Does that big piercing damage. Always very good. Yeah, that's essentially how you're trying to win the game. You're trying to just cheese it with your Blue Eyes Chaos Max, just attacking for game. Then we go into the rest of our Blue Eyes package. We are playing 2 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative. No need to play 3. It's, again, searchable. You're only going to be summoning 1 ever, realistically. Probably 1 on the follow-up turn. Yeah, because it's 1 to a turn. So yeah, just the 2 copies of Alternative, followed up with the 3 copies of your standard Blue Eyes. Typically, this is going to be your Ritual material, whether it be from Chaos form or whether it be from Advanced Ritual Art. I did consider the other Ritual Art spell, I just couldn't quite figure out how to get it to work around with the list. Then, last card for the standard Blue Eyes package is the 1 copy of Abyss Dragon. Of course, this is going to be searching your Ritual spells and your polys as long as you have access to your other Blue Eyes, which normally is pretty easy. Then we go into our level 1 Tuner Blue Eyes monsters. So we've got our 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. Hopefully you've had you've gotten off your other stuff so you can get into your Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, and then that can resolve successfully. But yeah, that's essentially why we're playing the 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue, because we can go 1 card into the other, and then hopefully get the entire engine moving. Then we have our 1 copy of White Stone of Ancients. I'm mainly playing this for the recursion. Rarely does the summon from deck actually come up in a good way, mainly because you're going second, typically with this list. And then 1 copy of White Stone of Legend after that. This is simply here because you get to add off all of your regular Blue Eyes, and that facilitates your Ritual engine, and then you kind of keep going from there. Then after that, we go into our primary normal summon for the deck. It is 3 copies of Manju, just so we can add the Ritual monster or the Ritual spell, whatever we need, we can get to it with our Manju. We can then also send it to graveyard with the Sage with Eyes of Blue, which is always pretty good. And then we go into our hand traps after that. So we aren't playing Incantations or Drytrons or anything like that in this list. I wanted to realistically play as many hand traps as possible because we wanted to try and interact with our opponent as much as possible, given that we're a blind second deck here. So of course we are playing the 3 copies of Effect Veiler, probably the best hand trap in the format right now, and also a very good one in this deck. 2 copies of Nibiru follow that up. This again is a very good hand trap in this deck. In the current format, it's not so great, which is why we're only playing 2 of it. But in this deck, you want to be able to just nuke your opponent's entire board once they've comboed off, slap down a defense position Nibiru token, and then laugh as you attack over it with a Chaos Max. And then the last hand trap, or the last monster-based hand trap, is 1 copy of Droll and Knockbird. Very good card in the current format, which is why I replaced the 3rd Nibiru with at least 1 copy of Droll. Sometimes it will come up, and when you draw it, it is very, very good to draw. You don't necessarily just have unlimited space in the deck to fit 3 of them in here. You could trim down your Impermanence or your Effect Veiler to 2 to fit in more copies of Droll if you wanted to do that, but it is up to you. That then does bring us to our spell cards. So we are playing our 3 copies of Melody of Awakening Dragon. Discard 1, add 2 dragons. Good times. Again, pretty standard. 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords, just to bring stuff back from the graveyard, get you into rank 8 plays if you necessarily need to do that. 3 copies of Trade-In for ditching the level 8s out of our hand and then overall just getting more consistency. And then we get to our ritual spells. So we are playing pretty standard 3 copies of Advanced Ritual Art, simply because we can, use Advanced Ritual Art in this deck. And then 2 copies of Chaos Form after that. I found that Chaos Form not as good as the Advanced Ritual Art, which is the reason why we've got it at 2. And then lastly, we do come to our other hand trap. It is our 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, which rounds out our main deck. Okay, now we do get to our extra deck. It is effectively pretty useless in this deck, considering you're just trying to turbo out that Chaos Max and then effectively push for game. But it does still facilitate like standard combos. You are playing, pretty much you are still playing like Blue Eyes combo stuff. You're just not playing it in as high a count, so it's less consistent. And there are still like some cute little plays that you can do as you go through. We do go to our level 1s though, so we have the 1 copy of Linkuriboh with the 1 copy of Pisty, and 1 copy of Almirage with 1 copy of Striker Dragon. These are all of our Link 1s to try and facilitate some Dragon Link play. Then we've got the 1 copy of Crystron Halka Fibrax. Again, good card, summons from the deck tuners, along with 1 copy of Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. Going to be tributing, of course, bouncing, summoning from deck. General good things that this card does. Then we have our 1 copy of Selene for transitioning through to the access code again. I still haven't got my access code back, so we are on the 1 copy of Appaloosa at the moment. And then, lastly, for our links, 1 copy of Sayuja. It doesn't come up as much in this build as it does to the combo build. If you do get to it, though, it is pretty cute to be able to go off with that, slap down another card onto board, get into your Heretic Seal, and then maybe your rank play, 8 play after that. Then we have our Synchros next, so we've got our 1 copy of Black Rose Moonlight to go with our Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. And then for our XCs, we have our OTK package. So we've got 1 Numeron Dragon, 1 Dragoobleon, and then the 2 copies of Hope Harbinger. Again, like I said in the last Blue Eyes profile that I did on the channel, I would definitely switch to one of these for a Heart Earth. But that does wrap us up here for the deck profile for this one. So as always, if you do have any recommendations or things you would change, do make sure to comment them down below. If you have a Drytron list or an incantation list that you've been messing around with, definitely leave that in the comments as well. I definitely want to build those decks. I just haven't quite found the way that I am happy playing the deck, I guess, is the way to put it. But yeah, as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.